Hi everyone, Sandy Wilkin here from Jackson, Ohio. Today I'm featuring my second botanical junk journal. This time I have not done an altered book, but I've done a sort of an altered ring binder journal that I had found at a garage or a thrift store. So I put some of the pages from the other book in here, and it ended up being kind of fat itself. So it's another alligator mouth, but not too bad. Still, you're able to work with this journal. Okay, so I used a strip of fabric that had thyme and chives and other herbs and stuff on that material, and I used that for the tie. And then the cover was already nice with this kind of a look to it, so I just thought that was so neat, so I just kind of left that the way it was, except I did add this little wooden frame, and then I put in some the letters "Back to Nature" for the title, and then put some green lace there, and then I used green lace on the inside here. So I have green lace on this, and then here's my little book plate that says this book belongs to, and here is a real pretty card that I put in here for the background of that as a hummingbird. Then the first page, I just love these kind because they're easy to decorate. Sometimes the pages are already, this one was already a cardboard page in here, so it was easy just to decoupage over that with some stuff. Then add some antique lace there. And then here's another one of these cards. These were Valentine cards shaped like mason jars, and I just put a butterfly over top where it said Happy Valentine's Day, and then I added this guest check that I Mod Podged a napkin on, and then I put a piece of lace across there, and I used some of my Distress ink to make that look older, and then added a few little tidbits here. There's a Tim Holtz ticket and a few other little things, birds of a feather, and made that into a really nice little journaling card there. I like to use old stuff when I can. I think it looks really neat in your journals. Okay, the next page was something I had picked out of a beautiful magazine, and it was clover, and I thought that's just perfect. I'll put that in there. And then I used some of this trim that's sort of a salmon color. And then here is The Story Begins, my stamp that I always use so that you can write what you want to at the beginning of your journal. Then the next page is one that I did take out of the other book. So I had to put this in with washi tape. So I just made little hinges here and added this piece. And this was made from 2 book pages, one folded down this way and then collaged. And then it made a pocket down there. And I put this little ladybug card in there. And this little piece of ephemera has a tag and another little piece of Tim Holtz specimen tag there in the front. And then this is a little journaling card that opens up and has bird's eggs and bird's nests and can journal there. And then this was another pretty little tag. So that goes in this top pocket. So I put that one there and had some of the eyelash trim and stick this little one down in there. And then this one can go, I had that going over the top there. So you can put these in any way you wish. And so that goes to this next page. And I used some green, some white lace with green ribbon going through it. And that kind of went over to the other side too to make that look nice. And then this was, I think, a set of invitations or somebody's wedding invitations, but they were done in vellum. And the vellum opened up and the invitation was the inside. So I just used some stickers to keep that closed. Let me open that up and show you what that looks like. It was just some vellum. And so I just put a beautiful picture in there. I put Choose Joy, some beautiful botanical ferns and stuff. And then you can close that back up and use your little stickers to, these were little fern and leaf stickers that I used. Close it back up with that. It'll stay closed, hopefully. And then here is a journaling spot that says, "Take time for the dreamer in you." And I used a Again, a piece of lace with purple ribbon in it this time. Then here is a beautiful page to do art with. It's some butterflies, and you can use your markers, or you can use colored pencils or whatever. The next page was I also took this, the next couple pages, I took out of the book, the other book, because it was too fat. And so I made an envelope. I got this idea, I think, from Pam at the Paper Outpost. I watched some of her videos, and they're really cool. So I put these little cut out flowers in these little pockets. This made kind of a cute little thing because you slip the envelope a couple places, and then I put some washi tape to show where the pockets were, and then you just put your little pieces of ephemera back in there however you want them. And it makes a nice little show thing there to show off your ephemera. And so that's what I did with this one to make that little pocket thing. Then I used green lace on that. And then the next page was a pocket at the top, but this one is one that folds down. This is a fold down journaling spot. So I decorated that up a little bit, and then in the top part, I put this big butterfly on there as a closure. Then these were some cards that I had bought at a thrift store, Birds of North America. Always look at the playing cards because you can find the coolest ephemera at thrift stores. And this is the Magnolia Warbler, and it talks about how his wingspan and all about him, where he's from. And that made a nice little piece of ephemera. And here's a little bookmark, The Heart That Loves Is Always Young. So that little bookmark fit down in there. And then at the top it had a little thing there. Then this is a fabric flip for more journaling. And I don't know where I got that someplace, but it's a cute little piece of, somebody's crocheted that apparently, but it's nice and had a little flower on it. Then I used this real pretty trim, which is some pink and green inside this real pretty lace, pink and green and white lace. Then this again was another picture from a book that I got, more of a gardening book. Then here was another thing that I took out of the other book, and I washi taped a hinge there and made this little flip out. And in that I have put a couple things. There was a pocket up there. So I put this little, I think this is a tally card from Bridge, but it was really cute because it was that daisy. And then I put in a little beautiful, looks like a little calling card. I don't know where I got those, but someplace. So that goes in that smaller part. And then this is another piece of ephemera, flower bouquet. I think I got that from a paper pack. One of the paper packs had little tickets and stuff you could cut out. Earth Laughs in Flowers, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And then some more of this kind of eyelash trim. And then here is some real pretty flower-looking lace that I had found. And then I found this in a, I don't know if you ever go through, any of you ever go to Hobby Lobby, and they have these little pamphlets along the sides of their aisles that you can take for free and show you how to make things. Well, I thought this was cute. One of the pamphlets, I take several pamphlets sometimes, and I found this and I cut it out, and it was how to make these little fossils that look like botanical fossils. So that's kind of a fun little thing. Then the next page also, no, this one I don't think came from that. I think I made this one already on the page. It was here. So this was a pocket. No, I guess this was from the other book because it's a page that was turned down and then a page behind it. Then this made a little pocket here. So for this tag and for this little, another one of these little journaling cards. I don't know where I got those, but they're really cute. And then this made a tuck under here. And there's soil microbes. And this is a dandelions seem to grow almost everywhere journaling card. Yeah, they do, don't they? Those dandelions. Okay, and then that had some real pretty yellow and white lace. So I used it on this side. And I made a little pocket there and put this real pretty tag in it. And then the next page was a pull out of a ledger paper that I had this bunch of felt daisies, and they were like in a string of, and I used them and used them and used them, but it made real cute. I have made a belly band out of those before, but this time I just used it for decoration. And this is a pull out where you can journal in here, and then on the other side you can journal there. Take time for the dreamer in you, and then on the next page is more journaling. And it was some butterflies, and it was some stationery that was in like 3 sections, small and then bigger and bigger even there. Then this was another page, 2 pages from the other book, because I had to washi tape them in. And again, that was another one of those fold downs, and I put up real pretty. This came from a calendar, I think, these little pictures. And then I used a page out of a book that had black and white drawings of plants. And then here is like a seed packet, flower garden mix, onto a journaling card. And then another real pretty tag that kind of matches that lavender in there. Okay, and then that was decorated with some real pretty shiny blingy purple ribbon-like stuff. Then this was a little dragonfly paper to journal on. This was from a notebook. The next page was a belly band, and in the belly band, I used this real pretty paper with the ferns on it, craft paper, and this was a little tag, and another one that I made and put decoupage some stuff on. And here's another one of those little tags that I opened up and made it into, instead of a journaling card, it could be like a journaling tag or whatever for that one. So that's pretty cool there. Those all go down the belly band. And this says pluck a thistle and plant a flower. So this must have been from a paper pack. I cut that off and made that belly band out of it. And then this was some real cute trim that I had found at the thrift store. And this was old vintage wrapping paper. Has parsley, talks about parsley there. And this was all herbs and stuff in this beautiful old vintage wrapping paper. And I found this trim that went really well with it because it had all those colors in it, aqua and pink and yellow and everything. It just went with that. So the next page is a pocket here. And this one I did not take out of the other book, so I've made this one. And I made a little corner tuck up there and put this little hardware card in there. I think this is just a remake of an old advertising card. And then this page was already in this book, So that little watering can and everything was already there on this tag board. So I just added this pocket. And then these are some coasters that I found. I thought those were kind of cool with a bird on them. So there's a coaster for that pocket. Here's another one of these little things that I had in the other book, but I had to take them out. So there's a little tag there and there. And here is a little mushroom piece of ephemera too in that one. So I just put all those in there. And then I used some blue lace here. And here's a beautiful card. Looks like it's been watercolors or something. And then that's a journaling spot. And then up there is another tag I just put in. And I cut this from a folder, I think. I had bought some really cool folders that had plants all over them. They were so nice. And then this is another journaling spot. It says, "Oh, happy day." And there's a little birdhouse that says Ladybug Landing, and so you can journal there. This came from the other book because it's washi taped in. And then here's some real pretty purple ribbon through this white lace. And then this is a card that says hope on it, butterfly paper. And this again is a place that you can journal. And then a tag at the top with some real pretty green lace to match the tag. Next page is another beautiful picture from a book that another book that I found. And I just put the sticker on it. It says, "Enjoy the little things." And then I used some of this kind of rope trim that looks like burlap. And then this was next page, this True Beauty. And this was one of those linen cards that I found that had the envelopes with them. I just love that jagged edge, but they almost feel like linen. So I bought a bunch of those at a thrift store. And these are some envelopes on the next page, 2 envelope pockets that I made. And they have hummingbirds on them. You just flip those up. And then in each one there's a butterfly and moth card, some more collaging. And then this one has the Worms Decomposer card and some more collaging. And both of those envelopes go down, and that makes a nice little page there with some washi tape with birds on it. So that was also taken out of the other book to put in this one. And here's some more green, real pretty green lace for that trim. And this was another pocket. And this opens up. It has a bookmark in it. But I think this was one of those ones that you put money in. I know it was. So I decorated it up, put the seeds around there that I found in a magazine. And then this beautiful tag with the bird nest. And then I think this is another scored, it is, from a bridge game. I just thought these were so cool. We even had a place to write in there. So that is, and this is Backyard Journal. I found those in a magazine, so you could journal there if you needed to, or jot notes down. And then it goes back in there. And then this page is, I used some real pretty old-fashioned lace there, and I put a gold trim butterfly there, and this made a tuck space with this picture. It looks like an old-fashioned picture with a butterfly collection. And there is a butterfly card that I've gotten at a thrift store in a set of deck of cards, and another one of these real cute little fold-up journaling spots, journaling cards. Another one of them you could put in there. So those all go in the tuck spot there. And then the next page is a note page for journaling. And I think this is just a trim that I put on the edge of it to make it look nice. Then here, again, this came out of the other book. And this is really cool. This is an envelope flip out. And it's made up of one, this is a note card, 2, and then this is 3, this envelope. And this was a big bag that I put at the bottom that looks like it has real lace on it, but it doesn't. So I found these pictures. I just loved them. It had feathers and birds and stuff on them. So I decorated up this bag and put in a tag up there. Like this little tag. And then put that back in there. And then this envelope went underneath that and made a pocket here. And I decorated that and put in this little journaling card. Again, it's one of those ones that you can journal on. And decorated that up with some stickers. I love the color of this envelope. And here was a mason jar tag. You could put anything you wanted in there, journal on it, with a belly band on this part of the envelope. And this was a note card. It says a note to say, whatever, and it had beautiful flowers and vases. So that was tucked under the whole thing too and glued. So that made a page for journaling there, notes. And then this one was on the other side tucked in. And that was already an envelope that was beautifully decorated. And I just added a sticker there. And then I put in another sticker over here. And here is one of the Tim Holtz piece of ephemera. It looks like a collection of shells. So that came from Tim Holtz collection. Then you can shut this any way you wish. But I think I was going to do it this way and put this one on top. I kind of like that on top there. So it doesn't really matter. And then some more eyelash trim. Then on the other page, that last envelope made a tuck spot on the other side. So here's some journaling space, and then this tuck space was already decorated because these envelopes were beautiful. They came with stationery to match. So there was stationery to go with these that I had bought at the thrift store. And then here is the earth laughs at him who calls a place his home. It's a Hindustani proverb. Another little card to journal on, but you could color this with colored pencils. I love that snail. So there again, something to do. And then this next page was one of those cards that you fold up and you mail, but what I did was took the bottom of it and put it at the bottom and made a pocket. And there's the little birdies in the nest. There's the mother robin. And then this part was I put in from that and made another tuck space for a journaling card. Take time to fly, she says. Then at the top, I just left that up there for another pocket. So this was one of those ones that you fold down, but I think what I did was I took the top part off and cut it off, and then just kind of cut each section and made pockets out of it instead of a fold down. Then here's another little, these are little ephemera cards that I made and put in there. They could be journaled on. And some more of my green lace. And this is an envelope flip down. Again, these are envelopes that I bought at a thrift store. They're beautiful envelopes. Collaged all that on there with beautiful different pieces. Then I put different things on the inside of the envelopes, and each one of them has a little card or a little something to journal on. I think they're all journaling cards. This one is Live Life in Full Bloom. And then that folds back up. Of course, I didn't leave this open this time, I don't think, no, because I already had it like this. Sometimes I leave them open up there and make another pocket. Find beauty in the everyday. Then this is a little flip up. It's called Nature. One touch of nature makes the whole world sing. That's from William Shakespeare. And then, oh, I know, this is one of those little tearaway tablets they're called, where you just put different papers in. Maybe you tear them sometimes or make them raggedy looking. Here's a guest check. Here's a raggedy looking piece of paper, or paper there. Here's another piece of grid paper, and there's a piece of one of those linen cards, and then there's another just a note place to journal there. So the whole thing could be journaled on. It's like a little cutaway tablet that had some orange lace on it. Again, this came from the other book because it's got washi taped in. This was a linen or vellum card, and I just cut part of it out to make a tuck space. And then in that is this beautiful, this kind of looks like linen too, beautiful flower on some dictionary page. And then this was another page here that had a place to journal. It says, with God, all things are possible. And it's a beautiful page there with some real pretty white, looks like daisy, something like daisy lace. I like that trim. And that shows up on the other side, makes it look nice. Then here's another writing spot, just a note, has nature up there. Then this is another thing I took out of the other book. Can you imagine how that book was fat enough the way it was, but can you imagine all this other stuff in it? You couldn't even got it shut. And you wouldn't have been able to use it, I don't think. I mean, I like these alligator mouse, but not that alligator much. Okay, so this was another one I took out of the other book. And then this was folded this way with one page, and another page was folded down that way and cut. And then this was the back page. That was 3 pages from a book, and then covered with paper, and it made all these different pockets to put stuff in. So all those had tags in them there. Okay, and then we have some more different lace here. This has got some salmon colored or melon colored ribbon going through that little lace. And here is another piece of tablet that says live life in full bloom, so you could journal there. Then this little thing here is another pocket from a page, and I just put a big daffodil on there, and then put another little tag in there, and another piece of Tim Holtz ephemera, which is all these different twigs and how you blaze the trail and how you make the sticks look for whatever you want to do your trail or whatever. So that's that. And then the next page is beautiful, beautiful lace, chartreuse or whatever you call that color. And then this is just parts of a flower. I cut this out of a magazine, and it labeled all the parts of the flower, and I thought, well, that was really pretty. So then it made a page. And then here was a tuck space that I made out of some craft paper that bird was so pretty, and I just kind of cut around that way and made a little pocket or tuck space, and put in a card that has greenhouse carnation. Now this was a whole little book of little pictures of flowers. This would be beautiful for another journal, a botanical journal sometime. And these came from a paper pack. I just cut those off. They were like little stamps. And then this page again came out of the other book, and it has a tuck space down at the bottom with another one of those journaling cards. And then it has a pocket here with this card. And then this was a big pocket on the end, so in that I put in a tag. Let's see if I put anything. Oh yeah, and I put in a collage postcard. Again, this was a postcard that I had. It already had these pretty little birds on it. Didn't have anything else there, and I thought, well, you could journal there, but this would be pretty to collage and use a napkin to decoupage, and so I did that. So that goes into the big pocket. Okay, whoops, get that back in there. See, sometimes when you make these book pages, they get really kind of crumbly, so you got to be careful with them. That sticks out. Then there's some more of that paper. That beautiful wrapping paper I love. This one had rosemary on it this time. And then this is a little side flip out, and in that is a little sticker that's a dragonfly, and another bookmark up there fits in there. And this one is Earth Laughs in Flowers. Again, that's, I think I read that before. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. And all those things there. And there's some more of that yellow and white trim I like so well. So I used it on this side with another little cutout. Then this was an envelope. This is an envelope. I just cut it this way, and then see the envelope is right in there for you to put. It makes a pocket. This is a great way to make pockets, just envelopes. And then this is some real pretty paper there. And then I use this tag. And I love this thing I cut out of a magazine that was already, somebody already collaged. It's in nature. It was beautiful. Made that into a journaling card. And then I put some stickers in. There's some insect stickers. So whoever gets the book can use those however they wish. And then that all goes back in there. Oops. Made kind of a double pocket, really. And then this is beautiful lace here that I put on here. What did I get? Yeah. This is gorgeous lace. It's got this real pretty pinks and yellows, and it's real pretty lace. I used it on the next page, which I always put at the end, unforgettable moments, for you to put what you want. Then I have a memory place for, again, you can put things, memorabilia in that pocket of this envelope, and then on the back side you can put it in there and do whatever you want there. You put pictures in. And then again on the next page, the best things aren't in life aren't things. Again, more memorabilia or pictures. Then this is another little photo thing or journaling. And then this is a big CD envelope that I'm decoupaged and then put my green ribbon around. And again, it says enjoy the little things, but you can put a full huge picture of in there of your garden, or you in your garden, or whatever you want. So that is the end of Back to Nature, another botanical journal, this time in a form of a binder that was altered. So I hope you enjoyed that, and keep on that junk journaling. It's so much fun. Bye-bye.